Model 3. Going to be changing out that round steering wheel for this little bad boy. Never done it before. We're going to see how it goes. Okay, I got the left side done. Now I got to do the right side. There's a very large spring clip that you have to try to catch, and it's actually okay. We got the clips opened up. We're gonna play peekaboo in here, and there's the airbag clip, that yellow guy, and I am going to take a needle nose and try to drive it in. Let's see if I hit this. There we go. Expensive airbag. And the control connector. Take that off. Yay. Move it to the side a little bit. Then we're going to be taking this bad boy out. We'll see if oh, yeah, baby. All right. Everybody else is pounding on this side. I don't know why. Yeah. There are 4 screws that come out. Just loosening them all up. This one. I usually like using a drill for these, just to speed it along. Now when it's taken out the airbag, I kind of clipped this and pulled it up a little bit. Okay. Now, yeah. So you need to come probably from here. There's a clip here and here, and in 3 places, or 3 sets of clips, and you're just gonna pop that out. You can end up pushing it down a little bit, but I find it's easier if you just take a needle nose, push them both in at the same time, and it'll pop right down. Far easier than using a screwdriver like in most videos. And that's it. I'm gonna cheat. One more on this side. This time I'm gonna cheat right off the bat. I get a little screwdriver in between here, just pry it up. Okay. Now, this guy is tucked in here. It's the cable harness for the controls, and I'm going to pop that off. That's off to the side. No video shows that, by the way. All right, Gillett. None of the videos really demonstrate what's going on here. There's an airbag that has a pin with a notch in it that when it slips in, it catches the notch and holds the airbag in place. So what we need to do is push this off in that position and it'll release this side of the airbag. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's a hole right here. You have to stick a screwdriver with it being vertically up like this. And if you just go straight in, you're gonna get hit, you're gonna hit here, and there's no way you're gonna get enough pressure to release this. So you need to actually turn it up or turn it down and try to hit the middle of that spring right here. Then you can push it hard enough and look at the throw. Look at how far you have to push it to get this all the way to the side so you can release that shaft. There's a bunch of clips that holding this front face on, and we need to release those clips. And a couple there. I went around with the tool and I've loosened them up on the sides. So now I need just to pop it. This one's okay. So right here on this pleather, it's catching. As I'm trying to pull this out, it's catching. So I want to throw this tool in here so as not to screw up the pleather and get it unstuck, or I'll screw up the pleather if you ever want to put the steering wheel back on. There, see all that edge right there? That baby was catching. So we're gonna watch the other side, make sure it's not catching. And it is right down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna tuck that pleather right there. See that guy right there? He's catching it. And again, that part is not in any video. All right, so we need to get this connector off of here, and everybody's been taking these screws off so you can get to this thing. I don't think you need to do that. So if I'm just careful, I'm gonna try to, there's a clip right here, and I'm gonna try to pop it on off that clip and try to slide it out like thus, saving you a lot of trouble actually. And disconnected, and we're free and clear. Yay! Pop this off real quick. I don't need this part, so I'm not real concerned about it. So I'm gonna do it quick. All right, we're not gonna discard it, but I'll probably discard it. All right. Now we're gonna pop this guy back on and onto the new steering wheel. But when I do that, of course, I need to have the heater cable, that's what this is, plugged back in. Now there's a little notch right here so you can't get it backwards. So if it's not going like this, don't force it. Okay, plug that back in. I'm gonna try to get this guy tuck back. So there are two shafts, they're guide pins. It's really hard to see, but it has to go into these two holes right here. That's gonna be difficult to try to capture. I think I may have to actually put those two in first, but let me just see if it'll snap down. Good. I didn't feel a snap, but it seems to be secure. Okay, so same on this side. Let's see, I'd like to not have a cable. Now I was hoping that cable would go on the other side of this, but it really does not. Okay, and looks like the gap went away there. Now I need to Working this side, make sure there's no impingements. Make sure these cables here are behind on this one. This one's not going to be behind. I felt a little pop there. Okay, so these clips need to sit in place here. And I can see that's just off to the side just a little bit, so I'm gonna just like push that over so I can get it to pop down like that. Okay, this looks good. That looks okay. So we're gonna be putting some screws in here that hold this whole assembly down. So you should not have a big gap between this metal surface and this clip, or it's not in all the way. So that one looks like it could go in just a little bit more. And that one is also down. There's zero gap there now. And once this is just off a tiny bit, the alignment, but that's a manufacturing thing where this feels like it should be over, but it's okay. Now to put the screws in. We're gonna put the 4 screws back in again, but I wanted to point out there is no Loctite on any of these, unlike the main bolt where it did have Loctite, and I am gonna put some Loctite back on this thing, because even if you torque it down all the way, if you don't have Loctite, there is a possibility that it could come loose, and that could spell a lot of trouble if you're driving and that comes loose. So just gonna point that out. These screws go in pretty nice. Now, as you can see, I'm going into aluminum, but what I'm screwing down is plastic. You ever torque that thing, you're gonna have a not a good day if you break that plastic. So I'm only putting in maybe 1 or 2 foot-pounds of force, not a lot. And the gut should go in pretty easily without a heck of a lot of effort. Now you may hear, as long as you're not over torquing, you can see I'm not really torquing it all that hard. You may hear a little bit of a popping as things are going into place on the outside of this. Look. Okay. That's it for that. I'm going to the important airbag clip, and you want to get this in before you get too much further, or you're going to have a bunch of stuff in the way. And again, this is the clip you're trying to push out of the way when you're trying to get the airbag off. You need to be up at the top of the angle and then push up. And it's quite a ways in to get this to break free. All right. Okay. On the plastic. Equal and opposite pressure here going to here. Okay, now these clips right here are going to be going in here, and these need to mate to the other side. We're going to show that in just a second. So I'm lifting this wire harness up to tuck it underneath. Then I'm going to push this into the hole, push down a little bit, go to the next one, push down a little bit, go to this one, make sure that this wire harness is not going to be in the way of this, because it is a little bit right now. So I'm going to just take a screwdriver in there, pop it to the side, drive that down. It went click. Do the same over here. Again, because it popped back out. Push it down. It did not go click yet. Push this back in. look on the other side here. Okay, so these are the clips that need to be engaged, and looks like that is engaged. This is engaged. That one right here looks like it needs to come up just a little bit, so I don't think that's engaged. So let me see if I can push from the backside. So this one isn't either. Just heard something go click. Let's check this one. All right, this one is definitely fully engaged. See the gap here, that there isn't one, right? And on this one, there is a gap, which means it's not engaged. This one, there is a big gap. It's not engaged. That one, there's little, almost no gap, so it is engaged. So we got a little bit more pushing to do. Okay, I heard it click. That one clicked. Where's the next one I gotta do? So we're gonna do, okay, so this guy is engaged now. I got this top one to do. Make sure there's no interference here. There's not. That's free. That's free. And it's close. That's a long tool. Let me pull up just a little bit, both of those, and I'm not confident that it's, I'm pushing in all the way. It seems like it is engaged. Let me pop it off. Yeah, it is actually engaged, but there's still a little bit of a gap, but it is engaged. It's not going to go any further. I'm going to lift up on it. Okay. Apparently that is engaged, because I should be able to do that. All right, so we have this clip. This connector is on. This connector is on. This guy's in. This actually did slip in a lot easier than I thought. I didn't realize when I first slipped it in, it completely seated where it was supposed to. So now let's put the steering wheel back on. I don't even know if that's important, by the way. I have no idea. Because if the horn still works, did I really do anything by shutting off that power? I kind of doubt it. So in all of these videos, let me see this. In all of these videos, everybody's going, oh, make sure everything's straight, otherwise your alignment's going to be off. That's a bunch of malarkey. You know why? Because this spline here has a notch in the shaft for alignment that lines up with that one. You can't get it wrong, or it's not going on. So, yeah. Like I said, this notch right here is going to prevent you, lines up here, is going to prevent you from getting it on wrong. You can't, or it's not going to go on. Okay, I'm going to wiggle it. Just a little bit of force, pushing down, rocking from side to side, pushing forward until it feels like it's pretty much seated all the way. And that feels pretty much seated, and I don't have a great big gap here, so I think we're good. And this is the bolt we're going to be putting on, and this is some Loctite that Tesla put on so the thing doesn't come loose on you. And since anytime you've breaking a bolt that had Loctite on it, it's no longer working. The Loctite is shot. So I'm just put one drop of Loctite So when we put this thing together, it won't come off. What did I do with the actual tool? I brought it in with me. There you go. Okay, just so this clip is out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Hopefully the car won't turn on when I do that. Finish screwing this on. And I should have torqued this down to 40. That's 43 foot-pounds. Okay. Hold the steering wheel nice and tight on this side. Okay, did you hear that?
Yep.
43 foot-pounds. All right. Now, we're gonna put the airbag in. Final install. This is, so here's the shaft that has the big notch on it where you need to get this thing moved out of the spring out of the way so you can release this so it'll pop back out. And again, when you're putting in a screwdriver inside this little hole down over here, you need to have it pointed up and then push in. Don't go in straight because it's going to be really hard. So drop it down, lift it up. Same with this side. You drop it down and push up. All right, so now we're going to plug in the airbag. The car keeps on turning on. I don't really want the car on. I have no idea if this is actually powered up, if the screen is on or not, or off. No idea. Okay, this is just a light clip. I have no wire harnesses that are out of the way or in the way. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on. The horn will probably honk. Did you hear those clicks?
Yep.
Yay, and the horn didn't go off. Well, let's make sure the horn works.
Oh.
But the horn always was working, so that's not a big deal. Now, we disconnected the power. We just showed the power back on. I don't think it's relevant, but we had taken the 12 volts off. Now I'm going to put it back on again, and I'm going to set this straight down. Okay, let me just, the outside housing here goes to this outside housing here. Gonna go straight down. Not much of a click. I'm gonna push this black retaining housing in, push the green button down. Now we're fully powered up. Put this housing back on. Now this housing has these easy clips that are gonna go into these holes here. So you wanna make sure that when you put it down, you're looking at those so you can just snap right in. I didn't do this one. There we go. And power's back. So we want to see if things are working. Here's the sound. You can see the bar going up and down, so this is working.
Is it heating?
Okay, this is the following distance, which should be on 7. It looked like it was on like 4. Okay, the voice control is working. I think we're good to go. And we're going to close the doors, and we're going to take this baby for a test drive. And we'll be filming that. First backup. How's a rectangle yoke feel?
nice. It's cool.
Sweet.